So yesterday we were talking regarding the different layers that we have got, right? So we know that from the presentation layer we'll call the business layer, from the business layer we'll call the database layer, and we have different segments over these layers. So it can be a JSP, or probably it can be an external system, and then we have the call from there to our business layer where we have our controllers, and then from here we should call our facades. From here we'll be calling. In the meantime, let me just start the server so that you will at least understand the first flow. From here we'll be calling our services. Here we'll save our data. Then in the reverse flow, from the DAO where we'll write our query, this will be passed back to our service. From our service we'll be calling our facades. From our facades we'll be calling our controllers. From here we'll be passing it to our JSPs or some external system, whatever it is. This is the general flow that we have seen yesterday. Okay, we'll try to extend it and learn a little more with a real-time example. Okay, we'll try to see how the data is being called. I'll tell you about one module in detail, login module, end-to-end of the complete login module. So those who want to put this in your resume, you can just put it saying that you have worked on login module of the Hybris. All the new folks who are not who have not worked on Hybris till now, you guys can put in saying that you have done a POC on login registration in your application. Okay, so that you can do it. Let's just wait for the server to be up, because we just need to know from where we are starting. So that is why. In the meantime, I'll just prepare the episode.
Kiran, I can ask one question here.
Yes, go ahead.
Kiran, I just want to know, because as per your experience, which is all existing table is I have to look into that, like a product catalog.
With my experience, if I have to tell you, don't look at any tables,
Okay,
because you will never work on table level. For you, only item type.
okay.
If you are a Hybris developer and you say this is how a table looks, nobody will care. You should never use the word table. You should always use the word item type.
Okay, so item type, which item types I need to look? This.
All the API provided item types. The moment you open your HMC,
Okay.
you can right click and create so many things, right? So each and everything is an individual item type. So you should know about everything. That is what I have told you in the first 15 to 20 hours.
Okay.
Okay, let's wait for the server to be up, because unless until this is up, we cannot start our immediate point.
Hello, Kiran.
Sim.
I got kicked out of this session twice. Once yesterday, once today. Is it just me or other people are also experiencing
No,
issues?
no, nobody.
Okay, thank you.
As in, were you dismissed, or did it? Did I mean? Did you close the go to meeting, or what happened?
There was no voice coming, and the screen was appearing for a while, the screen share, and then
Oh,
eventually screen share disappeared. So I exited and rejoined again.
no, no, that did not happen even yesterday. So you were not removed from the session.
I haven't seen any issues at least.
Yeah. Wasim, by the way, I've seen your mail just a while ago. So it was taking so much of time for you to start your server, right? Hello, Wasim, are you there?
I think it's my network. Yes, I can. Your voice was distorted. I could barely hear you. I think it's my network. Could you please repeat again?
Yeah. So you were saying that it took you so much of time for a server startup, right?
Hello?
Yeah. Am I audible now? Okay, we'll talk a little later about it then. The server is almost started, guys. We just wait for 1 more minute.
I can hear you now.
Okay, so you were saying that it took you close to uh, 40-50 minutes for the server startup, right?
No, 72 minutes to be actually.
Hmm. Hmm. So are you starting the server by deploying the existing build, or are you trying to create a new build and deploy every time?
Uh, New build
So you're doing an ant clean all every time, or ant all every time before you start your server?
and clean all.
And I think you must have had lots of code in your new code that in your
Absolutely no
application.
code. Basic code. Basic
It's not.
framework.
It's a basic framework. So why do you do
Yes.
ant clean all every time?
Um, maybe I'm not doing every time, but I might have done once or twice. At this moment, I'm just playing with 3 virtual machines, and then maybe I'm not doing everything. But why would it take 72 minutes? And it's consistently taking. I restarted my machine,
Hmm.
and
Probably, see, you have to. That's a hardware level configuration only. It has got nothing to do with your
other thing is,
setup related stuff. So
it
do one
has.
thing.
Mhm.
Try to. Yeah, I've seen the configuration. It has 16 GB RAM, and it should not take so much of time. Probably you should just look at the internal processes that are running, and how much amount of RAM is being consumed by Hybris. You just have to open your task manager and check it, or probably see what is the difference that is there in between your machine to your friend's machine. Okay, just check it out. Probably if
Okay.
it's happening only with your machine, then it has got to do something with your either hardware only. Probably the processor or some internal threads are running. Probably some heavy software is getting loaded, because of which, or probably some internal antivirus is running, because of which other processes are becoming a little slow. We just need to know which other threads are occupying maximum space.
Actually, all three virtual machines are my personal, and I'm the only guy who works on Hybris in the company.
Okay. Just check it out.
I'll
I
compare.
mean,
I'll
you
compare.
can set it up in other machine also, it will be fine.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, Viram, you have any doubt?
I was interested why it is taking 72 minutes. I just wanted to hear his configurations and
No, it is very huge. He's got 16 GB RAM. That's more than enough, right? And he's
yeah.
got Windows 7, so everything is proper itself.
My company system, they've given me this ThinkPad Lenovo W540. Hybris is extremely fast. It hardly takes any time, even to unzip it or to just load the server. And I mean, it's super fast actually.
Hmm. Generally, in office machines, that's why they prefer with higher configuration. For development, you need a higher configuration, anyways.
Okay.
Okay. Now that the server is up, let's try to just open our website. Just give me a minute.
Kiran, did you work on AEM?
No, I will not
Okay.
take up UI related works at all.
You are like me.
Okay. So if you
So,
see here, I just open the website. Okay, in the website you see there is this login/register. Okay, I'll just click on this link. I'll just click on this link. Let's see. Okay, you can see that the URL is having /login appended. /login. Okay, this was our site. The moment I clicked on login/register, you can see that the /login uh, is being seen. Now you submit some data here. You submit some data here, and you click on register. Okay, what will happen? See, logically speaking, this is a form. Every form will have some action. You click on this, it will try to save the data into the database. It will basically do an auto login, and then you are taken back to the corresponding page, whichever page you were in. So three things are happening. It is trying to take the form data and save it in the database. It is trying to auto login, and it is trying to take you to the respective page, whichever should be rendered as per your flow. Now, if you see here, I have this /login mainly. I am more interested in the URL part, so I'll just copy it, and then let me go to the uh, Eclipse workspace, do a control H, file search /login, and I'll try to find it out in, first of all I'll try to find out whether there is any corresponding JSP. Let me just try to search for it. Where are our JSPs, by the way, guys? Which extension?
storefront.
We'll have to only search in the storefront. Open the storefront, then okay, Abhiram, there is some background sound here. So if you don't mind, just be on mute. Okay. So if you see here, you have two ways to come to the login page, right? You can either add items into your basket, and uh, then you can click on the checkout and you will arrive to this page, or you directly click on this and you will arrive to this page. So there are two ways. We haven't gone from checkout, we have directly come from the login part only, right? So if you see here, you have two folders. Are you directly clicking on the account and logging in, or are you clicking on the checkout? So are you clicking on the checkout and arriving onto the page? So if you see here, I am clicking on the account and I am logging in. So this is what is my page. Okay, so now that we have reached here, how many of you have worked on a customization, new tags? Have you anytime defined new tag libraries? Anybody? New tag libraries. Have you anytime done in your application?
Yes, Kiran.
Custom. So people who have people who know that, for you guys, it's more like this. For those of you who don't know, imagine that this is a cake. Imagine, just imagine. Okay, and then this is one piece of your cake. This is another piece of your cake. This is the another piece of your cake, and you have this is one piece of your cake. This and these are another pieces of your cake. So you can see they are of different shapes, different sizes. In a similar way, your page is also divided into small pieces. They are all integrated together to make your page look like one. These individual pages are called as tag files. Okay, this is a tag file, 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 this is a tag file. So I can render the complete content of the, just imagine, for now we are not concluding that it is always a tag file. I'm just trying to tell you that you can divide your page into multiple chunks and write your code separately for these, integrate all of them, and make sure you are having a single page. It's like uh, JSP include JSP. There is a main JSP inside which you will have a JSP include. That JSP include will contain the first box, and the second JSP include will contain second box, third box, fourth, fifth, and sixth. So in a similar way, you can define multiple files and include them together in an order so that you will find out and form a single file. So here, if you see, you have user register, CMS page slot, CMS component. These are nothing but customized tags. Okay, so if you see here, you see that there is this slash login slash register. There is this slash login slash register, and if you just scroll down, you see that there is some login option. So whenever this particular page was getting loaded, this page is loaded because it is trying to load the content which is present in account login page. Now in the account login page, if you see, there is a minimal amount of coding. You don't see a complete code here. Now, how is it getting loaded? When we talk about the page templates, I'll tell you about half of the concept there, because half of the data is rendered dynamically from your content catalog. Other than that, whatever form, how the form should look like and all that stuff, if you see here, there is something called register.submit. Okay, which is user register tag here. So user is nothing but, if you see here, this is user. So WebINF's tags desktop user. If you see here, you have WebINF tags desktop user, and within user, what is a tag? in user register, right? So it is trying to call register.tag. So if you open this tag, if you are not sure about it, no problem, just hover over this and click on this. It will load this one only. So I'll close this. I'll just click on this. It will load register.tag only. Okay, if you see here, there is a code for your form. Your form is having title, first name, last name, email, password, check password. Okay, the same thing. If you see, it's all there here. If you see, there is this title, first name, surname, email, password, confirm password. If you want, you can add extra attributes also here, whatever way you want. Just see how it has been written for one of them, and you can append your existing values here. Now, the main reason behind arriving onto this page here is, see, there is no blind assumption that you will always have direct values here. You can give any value here. You can give any value here. uh, why did we arrive here, how did we arrive here, and all that we'll see in detail. See here, no matter what is your no matter what is your form, the moment you click on any button, there must be an action performed. So here, when you are clicking on this register button, the moment you are clicking on this register button, what is it saying is, I will take you to a URL called slash login slash register. I'll take you to a new URL called slash login slash register. The moment you click on submit button, if you see here, this slash login slash register is a value which is assigned to a variable called register action URL. So register action URL is a variable which is having this value. Okay. Now if you see here, for this particular tag, they are passing slash, the action is register action URL. So this one is nothing but the action here. So the moment you are clicking on submit button, it is trying to take you to this one. Okay. If you see the register tag, there is a form. There's a form. The action is nothing but the same action that you are getting from here. So this is your action which is sent as a parameter here. So which is nothing but slash login slash register as per their understanding. Okay. From the JSP, always remember the first call should be to your controller. From the JSP, your call, the moment you do some action in the business layer, if it has to hit, it has to always hit in the controller. Now, controller is nothing but a .java class. It's a Java class. So what will I try to do? I will do a control H. Okay. From here, I have this slash login slash register, right? I'm only concerned about the first part of my URL. I might be having my URL as slash a slash b slash c slash d. I will only search for slash a. Okay. Here, if you see, I have slash login, right? So I'll try to search for slash login in star.java. First of all, I'll try to search for slash login in Java file because I need to identify which controller it is being hit. So let me just try to show you. Where are our controllers? Which extension should we first of all find out? Because we are coming from the website, which extension?
It should be the
Storefront.
same store.
So let's just see the storefront now. Okay, so if you see here, Just a minute. Okay, so if you see here, you have this corresponding controller being linked. Let's try to see it. Nike facades is of no importance for us for now. Storefront. I can logically and easily guess which controller. Within these controllers, I have pages. Obviously, I'm not coming from the checkout. I'm coming from the normal login. So this is my just login. So I can, if you want, you can even put a debug point here and you can identify. This will be your controller. Okay. How did it know that it should hit this particular controller, and how did it know that this is a controller? See guys, this is what is a standard. If at all you want to create your own controller, if at all you are interested to create your own controller, the first and foremost thing is write a Java class. Okay, so you'll write your class my controller. In order to make this class see here, when you have clicked on this submit button in your account login page, where is this account login page .jsp here, the moment you clicked on register button, it immediately has changed the URL to /login/register. So first of all, you should know where which controller is being hit when you click on /login. If you see here, there is a request mapping to your controller. This request mapping is to your class level. Request mappings can be at class level or it can be at method level as well. It can be at both class and method levels. If you see here, you have login page controller, which is having a request mapping of /login. Okay. Now, whenever you are seeing the URL as, whenever the URL is being changed uh, to /login/something, it will immediately hit this particular controller. Now, how does it know that only this controller needs to be hit? See, the concept here is your controllers are present in storefront. So just do a control shift R star spring star.xml config. You have spring MVC config.xml file in your storefront. You have spring MVC config.xml file in your storefront. Just open this. If you carefully observe, there is a tag here called context component scan base package. Okay. Now this particular tag, what it does is, what this particular tag does is, it will tell your application where your controllers are. Okay. See here, this is the path in which you are having all your controllers. So search each and every class in this particular package, each and every class in this particular package, and find out which class files are having @controller. If there is any class @controller with @controller, in that find out which one is having the request mapping as /login. There should only be one class in this complete package. I mean to say one controller class in this complete package with that request mapping. It must be unique across the complete package. There should not be two controllers with the same request mapping, otherwise it will be ambiguous. Okay, it will fail. You should always ensure that you are having only one controller in this package which is having that exact request mapping as required. Okay, so if you see here, you are having com.mycompany.nike, which we have given as a part of our module gem package structure, and then you see your storefront here, right? So let's just try to see it here. Login page controller is there, right? So if you see here, your login page controller is present in com.mycompany.nike.storefront, and within this storefront you have several sub packages like annotations, breadcrumb.impl, constants, controllers.cms, etc, etc. But it will only check within this storefront itself. Now here, till here, if you see your folder structure also, which one is your morning batch, right? So here if you see storefront, see there are so many packages inside which we are concerned about controllers, inside which we are going to page controllers. Here we have our login page controller. So here within this storefront itself, you are having several folders. What will it do is, within this particular folder, because your context component base package in your Spring MVC is containing this particular package, so till this package you will go. Within this package, it will try to search for each and every class which is having @ controller on the top of its definition. So it will, because it has to search for a controller. A call has come from an external system or from a JSP. Immediately it should try to convey the same message to the controller. So how does it identify the controllers? It will try to search in that package which is mentioned in your context component scan base package. So now it has identified a controller. Okay, how did it identify the controller? First of all, what all class files are having @ controller, they are identified as controllers, and every controller has got its own request mapping. Every controller, you open any controller, every controller will have its own request mapping. For example, see here, search page controller, if you, this is abstract, right? So you have your account page controller here. See, there is this /my account. If you open cart page controller, you'll have /cart. You open category page controller, you will have */c. If you open default page controller, okay, default page controller is again a normal controller, so no problem. Here if you use guest order controller, you'll have /guest. So each and every controller, whichever controllers are being invoked, generally they are invoked because of a request mapping. Okay, not generally, always your controllers are invoked with the help of your request mappings. You can put any request mapping, but make sure that no two controllers are having same request mapping at the class level. Okay, so what has happened, our test case is like this. You have entered all of your data here and you clicked on register. So it has taken your complete form data and it has tried submitting it and saving it in the database. When you tried achieving this, what just happened was, it has called your controller from the JSP level. It has called your controller from the controller. Okay, now only controller is being hit. But if you see here in the account login page.jsp, it was not just /login, it was /login/register. Okay, you have identified which class, but what method is being hit? Because the moment I say register, data should be saved. Where is that saving logic? Let's see it here. Like I told you, Your request mappings can be there at a class level or at a method level. This is a method and I'm not having any request mapping on the top of it, so I'll minimize it. Here also I don't have anything, so I'll minimize it. Here also I don't have anything. This is also a method. I don't have anything on the top of its definition, so I'll minimize it. Here also I don't have any request mapping, so I'll minimize it. I'll minimize this one as well. Do login. Okay, there is this request mapping, but it is get method. So when you click on login instead of register, if you click on login here, it will try to invoke that. It will try to invoke this. Do login. For me, login is not the point. Okay, you have store referrer, which is also not having a request mapping. You have this method C. You have this do register method, which is having slash register. So as per your account login page.jsp, the moment you are clicking on this button, okay, called submit button, it is trying to take you to slash login slash register. Now because it is trying to take you to slash login slash register, uh, your login page controller is identified first of all. Next, immediately it will try to identify, it will try to go to this slash register, because your complete method is, your complete action for your button is, it is trying to hit the register URL. So slash login slash register, first hit login, then go and check for the register after login. So first of all login is being hit, which is at a class level. Then within that, it has tried to identify the corresponding method with the slash register as its option. So your slash register was identified. Now this method is identified. If you carefully see, whatever you are getting in your form, this will contain a form data, right? So all that form data is passed as a part of your parameter here. So whatever data you are entering here, the data needs to be passed as a request object, right? You can pass it as a request object. You can set everything into a request, and you can say request.get parameter, request.get parameter. That way you can get, by default Hybris is by default sending it in the form of a POJO class. So here they have created some simple POJO class. See here, if you open the register form, there is this title code, first name, last name that they have defined, and that particular values are being passed from the front end, and you can see that it is trying to call this particular method. Okay, like I told you, from the controller always you should call facades. From the facades you should always call the services. In the services you should save your Same is the case with facade. From the facades, you can call any number of facade, facade 1 to facade 2 to facade 3 to facade 4. Ultimately, you should call a service. Within the service also, you can call any number of services, service 1 to service 2 to service 3. Ultimately, you should either save the data there, or you can call another DAO. So from the DAO also same way, DAO1 to DAO2 to DAO3. Ultimately, you should get a result. You should have a query written. That query should always return a result. So simple. Now if you see here the same concept, this is your login page controller. where you are getting register form data, and you are passing that form data to one of the methods here called process register user request. I'm just clicking on this implementation. Okay, if you see this, this is present in abstract register page controller. From the login page controller, the call has reached to abstract register page controller. No problem. No problem at all. First of all, let's see what Hybris is giving. Then we will think of modifying everything. What if I need to write a code? I'm telling you in advance, you will get a doubt that what if I need to write a code? How, where do I need to modify? All the thing again I have to tell you. First of all, let's understand what the complete flow is. So when I say ask your doubts, don't ask saying that what if I write a code, which way I have to modify. I'll tell you that. For now, don't think from that perspective. In case you have a doubt that whatever I am explaining, ask in that itself. Do not ask a question of future reference. Okay, you see that something has been called from login page controller. This login page controller is present in Nike storefront. From here they are passing the data, form data, and they are calling process register user request method. From here, if you see the implementation that is present in abstract register page controller. Okay, this is also there in Nike storefront. Very good. Now if you see here, they are getting this form data. Now a simple question, guys, will you try to save is this form exact representation of my customer? I'm getting a form out of which I'm entering 6 or 7 attributes. Okay, 7 fields. Now is this an exact representation of my customer? Is the form data my exact representation
Yes.
of customer? Okay,
Yes.
No.
it's a representation of customer is what some people have told. Okay, for you guys, those who said yes, how many fields is your form data containing?
Only 7.
How many does your okay, you want to save this customer in database? How can you save it? What is the true representation of customer in the customer table or customer item type in your business layer? What is the representation of
Okay. I
customer
mean,
item type in your customer item type in your business layer? I have a customer item type. What is its representation in the Java layer? How can I access a customer item type?
Through model.
model class. Yeah.
You have a customer model. Now, how many fields does your customer model contain?
Definitely more than 7.
More than
If you see here, let me just open the
more than 7.
more than 7 is a wrong way of saying it.
You will get the attributes from the generic item.
You will get so many items from so many extended items. That sounds more good. Okay, I'm just logging on to HMC. If you see here in the user section, if you right click on the customers, you want to create a new customer. Anyways, you will not do this, but if you can see, there are so many attributes in one tab. There are so many attributes in another tab. There are so many attributes in another tab, another tab. So you can see customer model is having so many attributes. This is not the this form data is not the exact way of representing my customer model. I'm not this is not the exact copy of my customer model, because this is not having any data at all. I need to set the data from form to my customer model. Customer model is containing some 100 fields, and my form is containing only 5-6 fields, which is completely stupid. And also my form might be having so many unnecessary parameters. For example, will you save captcha in your database? Do you save captcha in your database?
No.
And do you save confirm password in your database? Confirm
No, we
password.
just validate it.
No.
We don't save it. Yeah, we just validate it. We don't save
So
it.
your form contains so many unnecessary attributes. You need to refine it or not.
Yes.
So from the form, take only that refined set of attributes. Now that refining, you will try to create a new class called data class. Okay, you create a new class called data class. This data class contains refined data. It's like you get some form object, you refine it, you pick only whatever is required out of it. You create a new class called data class. It's also a simple Pojo class. There is this data class which is also a Pojo class. From your form, you will try to take only the required amount of data and you will try to set it in a data class object. For example, if you see here, you're getting a form. If you try to open register form, you might be containing title code, okay, first name, last name, email, password, check password, captcha. So this check password and captcha you don't require at all. You want, all that you need is first 5 fields. So from the form you might be getting some several fields which are really unnecessary for you. Out of them you need to pick up only the ones which are required and refine them. So that's where in your abstract register page controller, if you see, there is this, ignore this, they are just validating whether they are getting some fields or not. And finally, uh, you have your Pojo class in the form of register data here. Okay, let's just try to see what is this register data containing. It's just containing 5 fields. Okay, 5 fields like we wanted. Now these 5 fields are there. I will try to set the values in these 5 fields like this. I will create an object for my register data. Then what will I do? Data.set of form.get. Data.set of form.get. Data.set of form.get. Data.set of form.get. That's it. My data object is ready. If you are directly getting a data object to controller, well and good. You sometimes you might not be requiring form data at all. Okay, you might be getting some data object directly through some kind of logic. You might be getting data object directly. If you are getting a data object, just take the data object and prepare, make it ready. Once your data object is ready, remember this, once your data object is ready, your logic in your controller is done. Once your data object is ready, the cutoff point is reached. It's not, because you know that the call is from controller to facade. When you should call your facade, at what point of time should you call facade from the controller? You should call facade from the controller once your data object is ready. Okay, so once you see that, okay, my data object has been prepared, so this is what is my final data object, immediately call your facade layer. Immediately, without any hesitation, call your facade layer, because you want to save data. You have to call your facade layer only once your data object is ready. Here in this case, register data was ready, so we called, we are trying to call whatever facade corresponding to the customer is. If you see cart related information, once cart data is ready, they'll call cart facade. Once order data is ready, they'll call order facade. Whatever data is ready, they'll call their corresponding facades. Okay, so remember, it's always like this. Once your data object is ready, immediately call your facades. The controller's cutoff point in the first flow is preparing our data object. Once the data object is ready, your controller's work is done. Okay, now from here you're trying to call, see, till here your data object is ready. Immediately they are calling the facade and they are passing this data object. This data object, whatever they had, they are passing it to your facade layer. Okay, if you see here this get customer facade, I'll just try to see the declaration. See, it's customer facade here. You see that there is this customer facade. This is that concept of Spring integration, where you have your spring.xml file, dependency injections, auto wiring. Okay, so if you see here, this customer facade is there here. So I'll try to open commerce facades spring.xml file. I'll search what is the definition of this particular class. The definition of customer facade is this particular. It is trying to point to this class. Okay, the customer facade, which was declared here as a part of your abstract register page controller, you are calling get customer facade, right? So if you see the declaration, it is trying to, it is nothing but the getter method of this customer facade. This customer facade is pointing to this particular class. Okay, so in this class, whatever methods are there, to access them, they are trying to create this. So I'm assuming you know about the dependency injection, so I'm not going into depth of how they have defined and all. Okay, so if you see here, there is this get customer facade dot register. Okay, so I'm just trying to open this method. Okay, you see that there is this register method which is accepting register data. How is it accepting? If you see here, you have your register method which is accepting, which is calling with a, which is passing this data object, the data object that you just prepared. How did you prepare it? First of all, from the account login page, I'll repeat this one more time. From the account login page, you have seen that the call is being made to /login/register. First of all, I should identify which controller is it, and within that, which method is it. So to this method, to this particular controller, to this particular method, I have passed the form object. From this particular method, I have called the another controller, abstract register page controller. From here, I converted the form object to my data object. Once my data object is ready, I have called my facade. So I'm just calling this facade. So if you see facade layers method, this facade layer is trying to take the data object. Whatever data object was prepared in your abstract register page controller, this particular data object, whatever you have prepared with your values being set, that same data object is being passed to your this particular method. Now, still my data object is not a true representation of my model. My data object is also not representation of my model, but data object contains the refined set of values, It contains refined set of values, exact values which I need to save in my model object. Now what you need to do is, see, data object preparation was done at controller level. Data should be converted to model in facade layer. So what do you need to do in facade layer? The concept that happens is data to model conversion. So you need to convert your data object to a model object so that you can save that model object. So to convert your data to model, first of all, you need to create a model. Okay, so that you can set the values in your model object. To create a model object, there are two ways. To create a model object. One is new, using a new keyword, or the other one is get model service dot create. Okay, there is a method called create. If you use new keyword, if you use the to create a you want to create a customer model object, how do you do that? Is, see, this is how you do it. Customer model. Okay, let me try to open a new notepad for us. You can say customer model C equal to new customer model. Okay, this way you can say, or customer model C equal to get model service dot create of customer model dot class. Now what is the difference between these two is, if you are using this way, okay, default values will never be set. In your items.xml file, you know the importance of default value tag, right? You have this default value tag. for attributes. So the default values will never be set. They will not be set. They will always be null. If you create it using getModelService.create, then the default values are as is, will be set. Okay, so because you always want a perfect model class getting created, see, they will ask you this question in your interview. If you are projecting yourself as a fresher, there is every fresher as in new to Hybris, so they will ask you these questions. How do you create your model object? Here in your facade layer, if you see, they are trying to create a new customer model object. This is customer model. They are trying to create a customer model object. Here they are using getModelService.create of customer model.class. Let's say you want to create product model. So product model also you can say getModelService.create of product model.class. You want to create it for cart model, you can say cart model.class. You want to create for any model, this is reflection API. So you can just call your that particular model.class. Okay. If you do this way, what will happen is, whatever default values have been defined for some attributes at the item type level, all of those will be set. If you are defining your model class, see this customer model, if I am saying new customer model, if I am doing this, what will happen is, you will not be able to set some default values whatever are there. You will not be seeing some whatever have been there. Okay, this is not at all recommended with new keyword. You should always go ahead with your this one, get model service. No matter which model you want to create, whatever model object you want to create, always use get model service.create. Always for whatever model you want, that particular model, you have to just use get model service.create of that particular model.class. Okay, so now that you have used it, you have created your model object. Now once your model object is ready, same to same way like you have done from form to data, in the same way you should do it for data to model. How do you do that? Customer model dot set of data dot get. Okay, so you see model dot set of data dot get, model dot set of data dot get. Internally they are calling some strategies and all. Now what a strategy is and all that stuff, we'll see it in detail tomorrow. But for now, if you see, you have prepared your model, you have prepared your data object in your controller. Once the data object was prepared, immediately the facade layer was called. From the facade layer, if you see, I mean to say, in the facade layer, they are trying to create a model object using getModelService.create. Once they have done that, they have immediately called their service layer. See, in the service layer, they are passing your model object. So to the service layer, see, the cutoff point for your for controller is preparing data object. Once it is done, call the facade. Now cutoff point for facade is preparing model object. Once it is done, call the service. Okay, take the model, take the model object in service layer and persist it. This is what is the simple logic. So what will you need to do? Go back to your service. See here, they are calling this register where they are passing the model object. Just go here, click on your service layer. Once you are having this register method, see here, they are passing this customer model is being passed here, right? So the same customer model, see, like I told you, within the service layer, they can persist it here itself. They can to persist also, there is one API which you just need to use. I'll show that. So if you use that, you will be able to save your data. I mean to say, that model object. How will you save it is, see here, you have this register customer method, right? I'm just opening this method. It is there in the same class itself, in the same default customer account service itself. You are having this register customer method. So I'm just trying to open this register customer method. This register customer method is also is accepting the same customer model, and it is calling internal save customer. So let me just try to click this. Okay, this is that method which is used to save a model object. If you want to save a model object, you can call this get model service dot save. See, you can call this method directly here itself. From here you have called your this method, right? Here itself you can call your, okay, this is a dot class file, so I'm not able to edit it. So here only you can call your that particular value. What do we say? Get model service dot save. Okay, if you see here from this register customer, see, I'll show you one more time. Here you're passing the model object. So to your register method, this is that customer model which is being passed to your register customer method. Now register customer method is passing that same customer model to another API called internal save customer. From here, if you see, they are using a method called get model service dot save. So if you want to create a new model, you are calling get customer service customer model. But if you are trying to save a customer model, you need to use this way, save of customer model. Whatever model you want, that model object. This is model object. Okay. Because in your Hibernate or any other API which is provided to you for ORM, you will use em.persist, right, to persist data. In a similar way, if you want to save an entity, you will say save of that model object. That instead of em.persist, you will have get model service dot save. There you will say em.add, right? em.add or em.create. You will have some option to create a new entity object, right? So in a similar way, here you are using get model service dot create. So you are creating a model object using create method. You are saving a model object using save method. So both the ways you are achieving your logic. So once your data is saved, immediately an event can be published and pre-post methods can be called just before or after your model object is persisted. So that way you will be able to successfully achieve your work. Okay, just remember this. Whenever you are trying to save a model, you should always use get model service dot save. If you want to create an instance, then you will have to go for create. So this is the only simple logic. So with this, we are at least done with 40 to 50% of whatever has been required for our front end flow. Okay, I will tell you more in details about this tomorrow, where if I want to write my code, where should I write my facades, where should I write my controllers, where should I write my piece of code. I want to create my own modification. Where will I do that? How will I do that? All that thing with code we'll see tomorrow. Okay, we'll write a piece of code for ourselves. Okay, till here, if you have any doubts, talk to me. What are we going to cover? You don't ask me now. Till here, today's class, any doubt till any place?
Okay, just a question on creation of the model object. We can do it using the new keyword, or we can actually call it through the get
model.
Yeah. So you said the default values are there on the second type, the get model service. So is it something like, if I say create, I am using what is okay, how should I tell it? See, we have a model class, so I agree to that. So if I use a new keyword, I'll just get a represent object of that class without any default values.
That's it. That is what I told you, right?
I mean, my question here is, when we put everything in items.xml file and create a model, we generally see those default values, correct?
No.
Okay, the default values are there in the database.
Do one thing, try to create one model object using new keyword and what do I say, that get model service dot save, and try to write your sysouts here, or probably put a debugging statements and see. Okay, here only you try to create, because this is one place where you can modify. So here you try to first of all put some new customer and say new customer dot, try to put something like this. Okay, try to get all your values from your customer model, and then try to print them here. Okay, and try to print some things by creating by just comment this line, and instead of get model service, try to use new keyword, and then try to print the same lines, or put a debug statements, and then try to progress through it. You will understand what is not seen.
Yeah, I'm agreeing to your point that the defaults will not show, but I wanted to know the difference. Why get model service is giving such a facility of getting all the defaults, whereas a new keyword is not doing it. When
Okay.
both are doing the same
Okay,
thing
so
of creating an object.
do one thing, try to search the same thing in wiki hybris once,
Okay,
and
I'll do
come
that
up
and
with an
come back.
explanation. Come up with an explanation for me.
Okay,
I will
sure.
explain you whatever is not there. Okay,
All right. Got it.
because
Thank you.
those things are read and understand things.
Okay, sure.
Because I need to draw a diagram and then show you what will happen at new, what will happen at
No,
get model
I'll do my
service.
research and come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Kiran,
Hmm.
I remember that in Hybris, if we put at the in controller level at the rate controller, it is not enough actually, because we do need to extend the might be abstract page controller, abstract controller, that is
So you mean to
required.
say, so you mean to say you will create a controller without annotation as at the rate controller?
No, I will create a controller at the rate controller, but I need to extend as well.
No,
Uh,
you
why?
need not.
Because if was if I returning to any page and that page is having CMS component that has to
See,
be
if at all you are
mapped.
returning to a page, stop there itself. I am not returning to a page. I am returning to some external system. Now tell me.
Then it's not required.
So you should always say, if that is generic, then say always. Otherwise, you need not use that word always, right? So
Okay,
for me, I'm not going to return anything to a page. I'm just trying to create a controller class. That's it. A normal controller. I want to
okay,
create a normal controller which will take the data. So I will just go with at the rate controller. That's it. If I return it to a JSP, then I need to go for abstract register page controller or abstract page controller.
okay. Anyhow, you will tell it tomorrow once you are about to return to the page.
I told you that one only. So when we talk about it tomorrow, I'll tell you about the next set of points. Till here, any doubts, you can talk to me.
But till here, no doubt.
Okay, so with that, we are done for the day, guys. Have a great time, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.